Hi, my name is Caitlin Pilkey. My topic that I'll be talking about today is bebop music, and bebop actually originates from a group of syllables used in scat music. Um, Bebop is actually just a style of jazz that came about in the early to 1940s-ish. Um, Bebop is actually very fast and upbeat, so it's real fun to listen to. Um, it often has a lot of repeated sections because so much of it is actually improvised. Um, Two really important musicians from this time period were Miles Davis and John Coltrane. Miles actually started out learning to play the trumpet in high school. After attending Juilliard, he actually started his career as a musician, and he was a part of several different groups. His first group that he was in actually was led by another well-known jazz musician. Um, After that, he went on to co-lead a band with a pianist named Tad Dameron, and then that ended. He decided to then put together of a band of his own. And there was just him and three other people, and one of those people was actually John Coltrane. So after a while, he, added in a few more people, and he started to kind of play around and experiment with the music, and he started to really start improvising, and this actually was very successful for him, and it resulted in one of his most popular albums, and that was called Kind of Blue, and it was pretty well known. And there was often not really any lyrics because the music was so, fun to listen to that it really just spoke for itself. Um, and then John Coltrane, he had an interesting life. He had a lot of different things that he had to deal with along the road. He actually just went by the name Train a lot of the times, and he actually started playing the clarinet at just 12 years old. And then after a while, he ended up losing his grandfather and then his father just shortly after that. And so that really, obviously upset him, and he just kind of gave up on his schoolwork, and, he really wanted to focus on his music. So, he finished out school, and then his mom ended up buying him a saxophone because his band teacher actually suggested it. And he, fell in love with playing the saxophone, and that actually became his, main instrument. And then he was drafted into the Navy, and he actually switched and played tenor saxophone while he was in the Navy. But it was said that he spent hours and hours practicing, and that obviously resulted in what made him so talented. And he actually ended up joining Miles Davis's group, and he after a while ended up getting kicked out because of drug issues. But then he decided to start up his own group, which a lot of musicians ended up doing, and he was very passionate about his work, and it went on for about 12 years, and he was so dedicated to it that it was very well known and documented because of that. Miles and John were very successful because of their passion for their music. And it took time for people to get used to the bebop music because during this time period they were very used to the swing music, and so changes, people weren't really sure about it, and because it was so different, the dissonance between the music, because a lot of the different music it was improvised, and so it was just a little bit different, and so it took some time for people to get used to, but I really think the bebop helped categorize it helped out the musicians who were different than just jazz music. Just saying that it was just jazz, I feel like those musicians could have gotten lost and, not has been as successful, whereas because of this bebop that is evolved, they were able to be different and, kind of be creative with what they were wanting to do. And they were just, those two specifically, Miles and John, were very influential. Just, their love for their work and their music that they created just inspired other musicians to try new things and be different and just be creative and, come up with their own ideas and just kind of roll with it. So they were just very, very important and very well known. So that is bebop. I talked about the bebop and kind of some background behind Miles Davis and John Coltrane, and how they were kind of influential to other musicians. And if you've never heard any bebop music, I really recommend it. I really enjoyed listening, during my research, and I really do recommend going and checking some of it out because it's pretty fun to listen to. The fast, upbeat rhythms and everything. So that is it. Thank you for watching.